Dear sister, you're not low maintenance. You've been trained to survive on less, and that might be your biggest problem. Listen, the message today is for my sisters out there who've been applauded for not being too much, been applauded for asking for little. But you know, deep down inside, maybe the truth is you're scared to ask for what you want to match who you are because you're scared of losing what's in front of you. Let me give you a word of advice from brother. Sometimes we blame the people who say we're too much, and maybe you are too much for them. Doesn't mean you're too much for the world or somebody else. Sometimes we blame people for relationships that don't work out, or it's easy to blame the man who couldn't handle you. The truth is this, maybe they're just not the one to be able to. There's no need to make enemies. I think the truth is you got to understand you and then see yourself as worthy enough to have what you desire. That's really the truth. It's somebody for everybody. That's the facts. But I want to deal with this low maintenance attitude because the truth is, I think you got to be healed here. So then it's not about anybody else. It's about who you are and being proud of who you are. See, being low maintenance isn't always a flex. It's not always a flex. Sometimes it's the fear. It's the fear of the response of what somebody will say. And it's not always in male-female relationships. It's everywhere. And some of you out there, put it in the chat, if you've been called too much. Let me see if y'all out there, you've been called too much before. Put a 1 in the chat if that's you. See, where low maintenance mindsets come from, most times is childhood conditioning, right? Where your parents set you up for that way, grandmom, whoever raised you, it's like, oh, she asked for a lot. She always want this and that, right? Sometimes it's from being praised for not having your needs or not expressing your needs, right? Or at times for some of you, it may be the fear of being labeled needy or too emotional. So you just hid your deepest desire, right? It's a lot of reasons why these labels come. And it's a lot of reasons why we live with labels from other people that perhaps we aren't even that. See, in a lot of situations, you sisters, you're told to be easy, right? You're told to be easy, thinking that easier will keep you around. But let me tell you the truth. Being easy to love shouldn't mean you being easy to neglect. Because a lot of times that's what it comes with. And again, it doesn't start with just a man. It doesn't start in dating relationships or marriage or that guy you divorced. You got to go beyond that to see why you respond to life and emotions the way you do. But I want to say that again because somebody needs to catch that. Being easy to love shouldn't mean being easy to neglect. See, this is the real question you got to ask yourself when you're in this mental space of too much, too little, how much can I give? How much should I show? How much of myself should I be? This is the real question. Are you shrinking your needs to protect someone else's comforts? I'm going to pause right there because I think that you need to sit with that. Have you been shrinking your needs to protect someone else's comforts? Again, it doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them not set for you. And again, this might be friendship. It might be relationship. It might be on a job, whatever it is. But you shouldn't shrink your best self to fit in anywhere because the only person who's going to ultimately frustrate is you. And that's not a place to live. It's not a place to be where you accept frustration just because everybody else is happy. Because you might be okay with that for a moment, but that moment is running out. And for some of you, that moment has already run out. See, the issue is that your silence about or shutting down or shrinking, your silence begins to become agreement, right? Your silence. So the people who are dishonoring you, that silence makes it seem like it's okay, right? What you aren't willing to say, people assume that you accept. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. You got to speak up as a woman and speak up everywhere you are in order for your voice to be respected. And you don't have to be out here disrespectful to get your voice respected, but you got to stop saying I'm fine when you're not, right? Because when you say you're fine, you're okay, it's okay, you think you're avoiding the problem, but what you're doing is setting up a precedent in your life with that person or that situation to make them feel like it's okay to have you where you are, right? So saying I'm fine, what it does, it disarms you, right? It's not being hard on people. It disarms you. You are the one left unprotected in those situations. See, you can't look for someone to protect you that you haven't said, look, this is my standard right here. Them respecting your standard is protecting you. Because what if they don't protect you in the right way? What if they don't? See, a big question that I think should hit a lot of your minds is this: are you choosing your peace, or are you just avoiding conflict? Because avoiding conflict, after a while, that conflict, you know what conflict does? It chases you. And it's like, oh, it's behind me. I don't feel it today. But that once a week headache you've been getting, that migraine you can't let go of, right? That thing that won't let you sleep, that's that conflict you keep avoiding. That's what you keep on saying. Well, I've been quiet. I've been quiet. I've just been chilling and it's okay. No, you're not okay, sis. You're not okay because you're not expressing where you really are. And you owe yourself that. And in fact, you owe the people around you that, because why let someone get to know a you that's not the real you? And if you do, then how can you build a relationship based on that? Some of you have been having to be the fake you since you were a little girl, right? And you're about exhausted with that right now. You got to know that having standards don't make you a high maintenance person, right? Having standards don't make you a high maintenance person. It's not about your demands, right? It's about your emotional dignity. I work with a lot of seniors and different people in vulnerable positions. And one of the first things in my mind is always to keep their dignity, how they feel about themselves. I need to protect that. You got to protect your dignity by not hiding your emotions, right? See, maybe you're not asking too much. Maybe you're asking the wrong person. You're asking the wrong person to value. You're asking the wrong person to see you. You can't ask somebody to see you that don't have eyes. See, your needs require, maybe your needs are requiring a different environment, a different relationship, a different friendship group, a different career, right? Maybe your requirements are that you need open spaces to grow. Because some of you, listen, don't ever apologize for outgrowing people, places, or things. Don't ever apologize for that. Well, that means if you've grown on, and some of you have done that, you keep on apologizing. That's what kept you in bad relationships, right? That's what kept you in bad situations. That you keep on apologizing for growing. You keep on apologizing for getting to know yourself. You keep on apologizing for going spaces in your mind that you never went before. Stop saying I'm sorry for growing. That's what keeps you stuck in friendships, toxic relationships, sometimes toxic thinking, that you keep yourself there because you keep on saying I'm okay, I'm fine. No, you're not okay. You're not fine. You're growing, and there's nothing wrong with that. See, this is the question. Would you ask for more, right? Or is the fear of being left or the fear of being alone make you not ask for more? What is it? What is it that's keeping you stuck right there? That's the real question that you gotta ask yourself. I know y'all saying, well, Christian, you asking a lot of questions. I'm asking you to ask yourself these questions, because this podcast may help you, but it's these questions you ask yourself during and after these podcasts that really thrust your growth forward. See, what's happening is you're receiving the damage of your own self-abandonment, right? You've been abandoning yourself, right? See, because I teach people this often. A lot of you put on different personalities to fit where you are. And do you know that's the beginning of mental illness? When you put on this person to be here, this person to be here, this person to survive here, eventually you lose track of who you are. And when you lose track of who you are, you lose track of your joy, you lose track of your peace, and ultimately you lose track of your own identity because of who you had to be around other people. See, you teach people to love you by being you, or you teach them to walk away, right? You teach them to love you by being you. And I'm not talking about being this flawed person that's saying, look, I don't care what nobody think. That ain't for grown women. That's not a grown woman's mindset. If you know you got a flaw, you got to deal with that. But I'm talking about when you hiding the best part to yourself to make people okay. You can't keep on abandoning yourself. Self-abandonment is a slow form of emotional. It's like offering yourself emotionally, right? I hope y'all catch what I'm trying to say. I can't say everything on YouTube, but it's like taking yourself out of this world emotionally, slowly, when you abandon yourself constantly. Aren't you tired? I know you are. I know you are. That's why I was led to do this podcast today. See, I want you to, here's another question I need you to ponder. Who are you trying to become so that people accept you? Who are you trying to become so that people stay? Again, if it's something flawed in you, you know what's flawed. Nobody got to tell you what's flawed. You got to be open, honest with yourself about what's flawed. But I'm talking about when you take the best parts of yourself and you crush them or become small for somebody else's satisfaction. You can't abandon yourself that way. And again, some of you were taught to do this. You were taught since you were a child that somebody told you to shut up, be quiet, right? Somebody insulted you in a way you can't come back from. See, because true love, to receive it or give it, it takes transparency. You can't keep on shutting up like you were when you were a child. You're 30, you're 35, you're 47 now, right? Love is built on truth, not performance. And some of y'all been performing for a long time, just performing, the performance, right? Putting that dance on so that everybody else is happy. But you're tired now, tired of the dance, tired of the up and down, tired of not being able to locate yourself after a day's work or a day at church or a day with the family, right? Tired of not being able to find yourself. Look, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hey, and I want to pause for a second because I got this book out, The Soul of Sarah, right? The Soul of Sarah. Go get this book off christianwinters.com. I was inspired to write this book after I eulogized my mother. Go get this book, The Soul of Sarah. It speaks deeply to women and the reproductive mind that you have. The best thing you can do in life is not just get married or have a child. No, there's a power in women that have nothing to do with what you do for other people. Go get this book, christianwinters.com. Go grab it today. All right. But understand this. Relationships only thrive when you feel safe to express what's really needed. Right? It only thrives if you're safe to express it. And guess what? Sometimes you got to express it when you're unsafe. Because when you're in a place where someone is not making you feel safe enough to say, you gotta make yourself feel safe enough to say. You gotta break out of that fear, right? Because it's your life you gotta protect, sis. You can't keep on waiting for other people to protect it. In fact, when you protect your life more, it shows other people I gotta protect it too. But when you live unprotected, it tells other people they don't have to protect you, right? The right love, the right friend, they don't punish you for being honest. They reward you for being real. And I'm going to tell you from a man's perspective, a real man's perspective, we want honesty because men like to communicate that honesty. Look, this is how it is. That's how you feel. Might not like it, but at least I know you're not lying to me. The worst thing a man who loves you wants is to feel like you're lying to him, right? And then some of y'all have broken down because you felt punished, so punished before for having a voice that you don't even talk no more. And that might have begun with your mother. That might have begun with your father, your siblings, your first relationship, right? Your ex-husband, right? An old group of friends who didn't value or see you like they should have saw you. A lot of you are stuck in that painful place. But the reason you're listening to this today is not an accident. You're listening to this because you needed to hear this to thrive and go where you got to go. Sis, I don't know who told you that being low maintenance is what makes you unlovable, but that's a lie. I don't know who told you that expressing what you have to say makes you intolerable, but that's a lie. That's a lie. What makes you lovable is your truth. What makes you lovable is your presence. What makes you lovable is your soul. What makes you lovable is your genuine voice, your genuine energy, the authentic you. See, because you can't keep on wanting people around you to be authentic or requiring that of men who date you, but you won't be authentic because you're putting this mask on to hide prior pain. You're not a burden, sis. You're a blessing. And the one who can see that you're a blessing won't need you to shrink. The friend, the family member, the husband, the boyfriend, whoever it is, they won't need you to shrink to love you. Let me close with this. You're not too much. You're just enough for the right people, spaces, and places. I love you. Make sure you love you. I care about you. Make sure you do. Stand tall. Until next time, brother.